Alrighty, welcome into another episode of Getting Technical, brought to you by Better and Green. I am Ethan. With me today, as always, is Wyatt. Wyatt, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. Excited. I texted you early this morning. Realized we have a beautiful slate in college basketball. Had a big weekend in college football, NFL. So now just kind of college basketball tonight. A couple hockey plays, but really looking into diving into these games. And we were talking pre-show. It's really hard to really dive into college basketball at this moment just because of all the other sports going on. So I've already placed 5 bets today, so I'm pretty heavily involved in college basketball today. So kind of did a little research, more research than usual. So I think I got a pretty good read on these games and excited to watch them, excited to bet them, and excited to talk about them.
Yeah, we have a nice, healthy slate tonight. Like you said, tough right now with all the other sports going on. I mean, college football, obviously, up until this point was priority number one on the weekends. NFL still going strong. But yeah, the midweek college basketball has been enjoyable this far. Today we have 4 games we're going to be talking about. We have 2 ranked matchups, and then we're going to be talking about 2 somewhat fishy lines. And your team, the Michigan Wolverines, my team, the Michigan State Spartans. So the 2 ranked matchups we're talking about: FAU at Illinois. That's number 11 FAU at number 20 Illinois. And then nightcap game, we have I don't remember the rankings. 2 top 10 teams. It's number 9
yep.
UNC at number 5 UConn. So that should be a great game. Let's start with the first game. This goes at 6:30 Eastern time. It's number 11 FAU at number 20 Illinois. I'm seeing Illinois a 2-point home underdog, over under around 146.5. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, so before we get into this, both the FAU Illinois and North Carolina UConn game are in that Jimmy V Classic. So these are both played at Madison Square Garden. So if you're looking at home court stuff, technically Illinois is the home team and UConn, but they're not playing on their home court. So just take that into notice for you those listening that there's really no home court advantage unless you're UConn and you're 30 minutes down the road. But FAU, they made it to that Final Four appearance last year. They're number 11 now. They do have one terrible loss to Bryant. But you said, we were talking pre-show, they returned a majority of their players. Illinois, Big Ten team, only loss this year was to Marquette. Quality loss. To be honest, I don't really buy the FAU hype, and I understand they had a great run last year. I'm not taking away anything they did, but should FAU really be number 11 in the country? I don't think so. I still think they're riding last year's high. So that loss to Bryant kind of said it all. They've also had a couple good wins, so I'm not discrediting them. But I'm going to take Illinois I actually got it at +2.5, but I like the +2 as well. I think Illinois wins outright in this game. So I'm going to take Illinois, and also love the under. It's at 145.5, 145, wherever your book you're looking at. Like the under in this game. FAU, if Illinois wins this game, FAU is going to be held under control, and Illinois has a quality defense, as do most Big Ten schools. So if Illinois wins this game, it's going to go under. So I'm kind of doubling down on the under and Illinois, but I have bet Illinois in the spread. I'm leaning pretty hardcore, might bet it on the under.
Yeah, great point with the Jimmy V Classic here, and that these aren't played on home courts. I did mean to mention that, so thank you for picking that up. Yeah, I'll start with the total. I mean, both these plays for me are just leans. I don't think I'll be betting this game at all, but I do also lean the under. Money coming in on the over, not a crazy amount. I'm seeing 58%. Line has moved down 2 points from the open at 148.5. So that's a little bit telling. I think the under is probably going to be the play. But I'm looking at FAU in this one, minus the 2. Just think it's a more focused spot for FAU. Like you said, they did have that one loss to Bryant, but other than that, undefeated. They've won 5 in a row. They don't play again until the 13th, so that's 8 days from now. So a very focused spot. Well, I guess they will play again in the tournament. But yeah, no look ahead. They don't know who they're playing next. Illinois, on the other hand, is off a big win against Rutgers at Rutgers, the first conference game of the year for them. I was on Rutgers in that game. It was never even close. 76-58 was the final in that one. They also have to play at Tennessee, 17th ranked, on Saturday. So I think it's kind of a loaded scheduling spot for Illinois right now. And I think I think FAU is ultimately the better team here. Um, like you mentioned, they did return, I think, all 5 of their starters, so um, they're familiar with each other. Obviously, a Final Four team last year, and then no home edge for Illinois here, being at Madison Square Garden. So slight lean to FAU. Again, not sure if I'm going to bet it, but I think just the scheduling spot favors FAU.
Yeah. Again, I was doubting FAU in the tourney. That didn't work out. I'm already doubting them early this year. So I get it. But yeah, hopefully Illinois can get it done. I think they can. So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll jump around a little bit. We'll go to the next ranked matchup before we get into our 2 teams here. So, number 9 North Carolina at number 5 UConn again at MSG here. I'm seeing UConn as a 6-point favorite, over under set around 150.5. I don't have a lean on the total at all. Again, not sure if I'm going to be betting this game, but I like UNC plus the 6. Just not sure if I can lay 6 points right now against UNC. Um, the scary thing is UConn is coming off a loss against Kansas. Had Kansas in that game. Great matchup. That was a Friday night game, I believe. So there's a lot going on with the Oregon football game and a couple other good games. But that game was not overlooked. It was a great matchup, great game. Kansas pulled it out at the end. Um, so that does worry me with UConn. But I mean, North Carolina's been impressive. They won at 20th ranked Arkansas and against 10th ranked Tennessee. Before beating Florida State this past week. They almost got caught, but they ended up pulling it back. I think they were down like 15 at one point in that game, ended up winning by 8. So it's a nice, resilient victory for them. And now they have UConn, then 16th ranked Kentucky, 19th ranked Oklahoma. Um, I just think they want to just keep this rolling. They've already beat 2 ranked teams, 3 ranked teams on their schedule back to back to back. Yeah, I can't get myself to lay 6 points against this North Carolina team right now. They just haven't given me any reason to fade them. Um, but like I said, it worries me that UConn's off a loss here. So not a great read on this game. Lean North Carolina plus 6.
Yeah, we're not seeing it at the same page at the moment. I'm pretty heavily involved on UConn. It might be my favorite play of the day. So I have already bet it minus the 5.5 is what I got it at. 6 points is fine. I think UConn wins by double digits here. Reason being, North Carolina looks phenomenal right now. Ever since that overtime loss to Villanova, which now doesn't look as great. That I think Villanova's lost 2 or 3 in a row. But anyways, huge win against Arkansas, 15 points. Big win against Tennessee by 8 points. They scored 100 points in that game against Tennessee, who, according to KenPom, has the best most efficient defensive team in the country is Tennessee, and North Carolina just hung 100 on them. So then a win over Florida State, who's trash, but was a bad spot. Then UConn coming off a loss against Kansas. Obviously, Kansas is a top team. Nothing crazy about that. It was a 4-point loss. It was a respectable battle, but I think UConn is just going to absolutely blow the doors off this game. North Carolina is not as fraudulent as they were last year. They were one of the most, I know me and you were pretty much against North Carolina majority of the games, coming off that national championship loss in the finals 2 years ago. Everyone was high on North Carolina. They're preseason number 1. I think they were out of the rankings for more often last year than they were in the rankings. But this year, they're a different team. They lost their cockiness. They got humbled got some humility. So it's a different team, but I think UConn's going to absolutely blow the doors off this game. I could honestly see them winning by 20 points. So I'm pretty big on UConn. Over-under is at 150, which is honestly, it's pretty low for a North Carolina team and a UConn team. Honestly, North Carolina is averaging 86 points a game. UConn's averaging 85.8, so the same thing. UConn does have a solid defense at 61 points. But again, if UConn wins this game and covers, North Carolina is not going to score in the 80s. So I'm going to take the under. It's too low of a number for me. So like the under at 150.5, but I have bet, and favorite bet of the day probably is UConn at the minus 5.5.
Yeah. Obviously head to head on both games here. For those listening, again, my 2 plays are just leans. Wyatt's 2 plays are both bets that he has actually made. So take it with what you will there. I would probably listen to Wyatt more than me on those first 2 games. I don't have a great feeling on them. we're really bouncing all around here. We should go in time order, but I'm going to go to the Michigan game first, and then finish it strong with Michigan State here. We do have Indiana at Michigan. Indiana 6-1, Michigan 4-4. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games, and Michigan is a 7-point home favorite here. So fishy line. I know you were big on Michigan at the beginning of the year. Haven't looked so great in their last few games. So I'm curious to see what you think about this game.
Yeah, classic. Michigan went 4-0 or 3-0. I thought they were the best team in the world. Was really high on them, and then they lost to Long Beach State, and then, as you said, lost 4 of their last 5. So, yeah, I've like North Carolina last year. I became more humble to Michigan here, but yeah, this line opened at 4.5 points, which is kind of, I mean, that seems like it makes sense. Money just absolutely came pouring in like no other. Moved this line all the way up to 7.5 points. Not quite sure why. I tried to look at the injury report, see if there's any injuries out there. I couldn't find anything on Indiana. Indiana's only loss is to UConn. Yeah, Michigan's 4-4. Indiana's 6-1 to a loss to a top 5 team. I understand they're at home, but Michigan doesn't really. They do okay at home. It's not like they're playing in the Breslin. It's not the same atmosphere. So 7 points is nuts. When I see a nuts line, a crazy line that doesn't make any sense, I take it, even though it is my team. And I've watched Michigan every single game this year. They're not good. Offensively, they're great. They're one of the best offensive teams in the country, scoring a lot of points. Defensively, I think they're one of the worst teams. They play absolutely no defense, force no turnovers, don't rebound. Every single team that plays Michigan has a career high score on their team. So not good, but yeah, I got to trust that someone is right on this read that's pushed the line 3 points in a matter of, I don't know when the line came out, but it's exploded in favor of Michigan. So I got to take it at the -7. No play on the over because, again, Michigan plays no defense, but I do think, I don't know, I think this is a game Michigan, I kind of like the UConn. I think Michigan wins by 15 points. I don't know. Again, I'm biased, but it is a strategy that I do follow, not just when it's Michigan, but when you see a line that doesn't make any sense, I usually take it, especially in college basketball. So I'm going to take them at the -7, have bet it. I also have a parlay later that I'll talk about involving another team. But yeah, it's gross. Michigan could very well lose bad in this game, but I'll trust Vegas is right and the sharps are right on this.
Yeah, I mean, this line is disgusting. I think we're going to disagree again here. I think we're going to round out the show with a agreement, but I can't figure out this line. If it was still 4.5, I'd probably lean Michigan. I think 7 it might just be a touch too high. I just can't lay 7 with Michigan. And I just can't figure out this line. I don't know if Michigan's being priced similar to how they were last year or how they were supposed to be last year. Or if IU is getting priced similarly to how they were last year, because I think they're a better team. So I'm not really sure. Indiana does have Auburn and then Kansas on deck. So I was thinking maybe there could be a look ahead spot, but Michigan has Iowa on deck. And I think Indiana probably cares more about getting the Big Ten win. And Auburn, it's not like Auburn's ranked or some great team this year. They're good, but yeah, the line makes no sense. So I should be on Michigan here. I'm just taking a stab that this has been bet up just a little bit too high. So I would lean Indiana +7. Can't get myself to bet it. But yeah, really fishy line.
Yeah.
If I looked about this game, I'll probably look into player props, which I've been made aware are not widely available. So I apologize if your state doesn't offer them. Virginia doesn't offer them, do they? Yeah.
No, bookie does though. Get yourself a bookie.
Bookie does. There you go.
Terrible odds,
Bovada
but
does.
yeah.
Bovada, if you're on there, has player props. I would look for Doug McDaniel. I think he's kind of the heart and soul of that team. He, to me, is kind of the Tyson Walker, what Tyson Walker is to Michigan State, Doug McDaniel is to Michigan. He's the guy that can go get you a bucket, the guy that can keep you in the game. So I think I would look to him on his points total over would be probably my favorite look in this game. I haven't looked at that. I'm not sure what his points are set at, but that'd probably be the way I look at it. Weird line. For your sake, I hope Michigan wins it. I will not be betting this game.
Smart.
And then lastly, we'll round it out here. Number 23, Wisconsin at unranked Michigan State. Michigan State's a 5-point favorite in this game. Over under is set at 132.5 here. So I will start with this one. First of all, I am leaning towards being in attendance to this game. Should be a big matchup. So yeah, I'm probably going to be there, but I love Michigan State in this game. -5. I'm shocked this line came out this high. I'm hoping Wisconsin money comes in to bet it down a little bit, but just a horrible spot for Wisconsin here. They're off the big win against Marquette, who obviously not a conference rival, but an in-state rival. I think they play each other every year, if I'm not mistaken. So that's always a big game. Getting the win, they stormed the court afterwards. Again, Marquette was ranked number 3 in the country, so huge win for them. And then not only that, they now have to go to the Breslin Center before heading to Arizona to play the Wildcats, who are the number 1 team in the nation. So bad sandwich spot here for Wisconsin. Michigan State, I think, is going to get up at home, first conference opponent against Wisconsin. And I think the line is extremely telling, being Michigan State -5. So I love Sparty -5. I'll bet it if I have to. I'm waiting. I still think money comes in on Wisconsin. I still think this could get down to 4, 3.5, somewhere in there, which I'm hoping for. And then, again, player props. Michigan State's player props aren't out yet. I see Wisconsin has some out, but I'm looking for Jaden Akins over his 3-pointers. It should be 1.5 -130, somewhere in there. He's starting to find his rhythm. I mean, he's a really good shooter. He's kind of struggled to start the year, but he's finding his pace. And then Tyson Walker over his points total. I'm going to take that until he starts falling off, but I just mentioned it with McDaniel. He's the guy that's going to go get you a bucket when you need one. He's had the ability to just take over games. So until he fails me, I'm looking for Tyson Walker over his point total. I assume it's going to be 18.5, somewhere in there, probably juice to the over. But yeah, I'll probably be on all 3 of those plays. Michigan State -5, at least a 2-unit play. If it gets down to 3.5, 3-unit. So I'll be heavy on Michigan State tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to agree on this one. Wisconsin's terrible spots. Wisconsin's also lost 2 games to Tennessee and Providence, but you just said a huge win against Marquette. Even bigger look-ahead spot against number 1 Arizona. I think Arizona's number 1 for the first time since like 2015 or something. So Arizona's hot. Wisconsin now thinks they have the ability to go on a massive 3-game stretch here, and we talked about it too. If Wisconsin wins these 3 in a row, they're probably top 12 team, I would say, probably even a top 10 if they knock off number 3 at Michigan State and then number 1. So they're in a tough spot. I think they're a little too cocky, a little too confident at the moment. And the Breslin's a really tough place to play. It's always hard to be a Tom Izzo team, let alone at home a Tom Izzo team. So I agree. I have not bet it, but I do lean Michigan State. If you can find a 4.5, they're still available. So I would definitely do some line shopping there. I do, however, have the under in this game, 132.5. I got it at -120. It's looking like it's at -110 now. This is going up a little bit. But Michigan, Wisconsin, college basketball, you look at the last 5-10 years, whenever these teams play each other, each team scores in the 60s. I just have a really hard time seeing this get above 132.5. I honestly do have a correct score in this game. Michigan State 69, Wisconsin 63. It's exactly where the book is saying this game's going to be at. 6-point favorite, 133 as the total. So if you want to get a little crazy, you can do that. But I do have a play on the under in this game at 132.5. And then I did mention after that Michigan game, I do have a parlay in this. I'm not a huge fan of doing heavy units on the parlay, so just a 1-unit play here. It's -108, but it's Michigan on the money line and Michigan State on the money line. That was via DraftKings. Granted, like you said, it's a tough spot for Wisconsin, so I think Michigan State should get it done. The spread is, I think that will get it done on the spread, but the money line obviously is safer. Then that Michigan game, super fishy. That line opened at 4.5, and Vegas and the big money bettors said 4.5 is not nearly enough points. So that means they think Michigan's going to win the game ultimately. So I'm going to trust Michigan wins it on the money line. Throwing Michigan State on the money line in a terrible sandwich spot against Wisconsin, or for Wisconsin, comes out at -108. In my mind, it's beautiful odds. I just have 1 unit on it because parlays are a pain in the butt. But so those are my 5 plays. Again, I have Illinois on the +2, UConn on the spread, under in Michigan State, Michigan on the spread, and then Michigan and Michigan State on the money line.
Yeah, I like that parlay a lot. No argument for me. Again, I leaned IU +7, but like I said, I would probably be on Michigan -4.5. So I do think Michigan wins the game. Obviously, I think Michigan State wins, so I do like that parlay quite a bit. Had one more thing to say about Michigan State, but I can't think of it. Oh, I like the under as well. Michigan State has one of the top defenses. I actually also had a correct score in my head, and we're the same on Michigan State. I had Michigan State 69. So when you said it, I was like, oh my God, are we going to say the same score? Wisconsin 57 for me. I
Okay.
think Michigan wins by, or State wins by quite a bit of margin. Game stays under. Um, so yeah, I might dabble in that if I'm going to go to the game. Throw $2 on it. Not sure what the payout will be. I would never advise throwing like a full unit on a correct score, especially in a basketball game.
Yeah. All I do is like say my FanDuel account's at like $75 and 49 cents. I'll put the 49 cents on the correct score.
Yeah, there
I
you
just
go.
wanted it at the even number.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could maybe see like a half unit on an NFL correct score basketball. I mean, it's such a crapshoot, but
Yeah.
I do like the 49-cent play. Yeah, other than that, the last thing I was gonna mention, not a game we're gonna talk about here, but I do kind of like Villanova against K-State today. They're a 2-point road favorite. Full disclosure, I was on Villanova this past weekend against Drexel -11. They lost outright, 57-55. It was just a horrible game. Thought they'd bounce back after their loss to St. Joseph's, and they didn't. Um, so it's tough, but I still think Villanova is a good team this year. I think K-State's taken a step back from their um, Final Four or Elite Eight, Final Four berth last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as a -2 road favorite, it's just kind of a weird line. So I do kind of like Villanova tonight.
Yeah, going back to the correct score, 69.57 is plus 31,000, and 69.63 is plus 22,000. I put 23 cents on it to win $50 on
Yeah, I'm willing to dabble.
69.63. But yeah,
Is that
69.50, that's on FanDuel.
okay?
If you do want the craziest parlay odds that I've found are always on FanDuel. So I know DraftKings has correct scores. I dabbled in correct scores last night in the NFL game. DraftKings robs you blind. But if you're looking at straight bets, usually FanDuel screws you on the straight bet. So it depends. A lot of books offer different things. FanDuel, in my mind, are better on player prop odds and better on like crazy parlay odds. So just FYI, if you're looking for odds and difference between books, just make sure you line shop it and get the best available line.
Yeah, I have to say something too because that's a great point, and I just saw it last night with my own two eyes. I bet I know this is a basketball show, but I bet T. Higgins and Drew Sample last night, anytime touchdown scores, parlayed them because I had $1 free bet on points bet is plus 12,000. So $1 to pay out 120, which I thought was great odds. Went over to DraftKings, did the same parlay. $1 would have won you $39. So it was 3 times better odds on points bet than it was on DraftKings. So like you said, DraftKings robs you blind. I mean, just ridiculous odds plus 3,900 for that when you can get plus 12,000 over at points bet. So yeah, always shop around. And yeah, probably avoid DraftKings for your parlays. Other than that, did you have anything else to mention for tonight?
I don't. I'm excited to watch these games. I mean, I watch every single Michigan game, so I'm excited whenever my boys play. But really excited I'll be able to watch that Michigan State game as well because they're at different time slots. Really excited to see what happens in North Carolina, UConn, FAU. These are just great games. It's a great Tuesday in college basketball, so excited to watch. Hopefully excited to win some money. Again, I'm 5 units in on tonight's slate already. So excited. I'm on a little bit of a heater in the betting world. So make sure you do follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We're posting our plays and we're winning some money. So yeah, I'm excited and hopefully the streak continues tonight.
Yeah, when you tune into the State game, just peek around in the zone. You might see me sneak my way back down there.
Try to get back in.
We'll see. Got the wristband right here. I'll probably throw it on and see what I can do. But yeah, other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in once again. Yeah, full transparency, my college basketball has not been great this year. About break even. I'm down like less than half a unit. And I think I'm like 16 and 15. So I'm right there, break even. However, NFL, I'm coming off my best week ever. I was up almost 14 units this weekend in the NFL, 8-1. So be sure to check out our NFL video that comes out on Thursday. We won't have Power 5 picks out for this weekend, obviously with only one college game, but
I might put a quick Army-Navy preview out.
Okay.
But
yeah, we might have something.
Just stay tuned.
Yeah. But Power 5 picks, we are probably going to look at every single bowl game that there is. So keep your eyes out for that. We're just going to do short videos for each bowl game. So quick, easy watches. Other than that, guys, just if you could subscribe to our channel right now, we're donating $1 to St. Jude's from now until Christmas. I believe last year we donated $54, and we're just looking to blow that number out of the water this year. So just hit that subscribe button, like these videos, leave comments for us. We'd love to get back to all your comments. And then be sure to check out bettergreen.com. We're releasing articles constantly. We have premium articles coming out that you can have for just $1 a month. Extremely cheap. We give out premium plays there that you won't get anywhere else. This past weekend had a 5-unit play on the 49ers that was a no sweat. You would have won your year subscription on that if you would have bet like, I don't know, $15 on it. So you're going to be making money following us. So just check out bettergreen.com. We have merch over there as well, articles. Be sure to check out all our videos. And guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
You better start listening to the Better and Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? Listening to cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top, hey. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast, Better and Green.